we are going to talk about Michigan State, Michigan, and for a couple of reasons here. One, a Michigan fan and a glutton for punishment. The other one is that, as we were saying earlier, that Michigan State, that Michigan and Michigan State are both 4-3, but Michigan State appears to be on the way up. Michigan is on the way down. Nevertheless, Michigan is actually favored in this game. And I don't know if this game will actually mean anything ultimately to any sort of bowl pick or playoff pick, because I don't think either Michigan or Michigan State is making the playoffs. At this point, I don't know if either of them are going to make a bowl game. So I just wanted to go over this game real quick with you guys and see what you think. Justin, why don't you start? What do you think about Michigan State, Michigan?
One of the reasons I think the spread is what it is and what makes it such a hard game to pick outside of the fact that it's a rivalry game is, Michigan's obviously the more talented team, and up until Michigan State played Iowa and beat Iowa, you probably would have picked Michigan in this game looking ahead, right? But like you said, you have one trending up, one trending down. And I think that's the difficult part about some of these are the gotcha games right here. These are the ones that are tough to pick. Aiden Childs, my camera keeps cutting out. Aiden Childs has looked better, a lot better. He's getting more refined as a quarterback. However, his decision making is still not where it needs to be. It still leaves a lot to be desired. His football IQ still needs development. He's 18 years old. Of course, we can expect that. But he did a good balance of throw and run, but again, just made some mistakes in terms of his decision making. Michigan, on the other hand, they can't really figure out any kind of offense. And part of me feels like Michigan wins this game, but then the other part of me is like, where do the points come from? And I think that's what I'm struggling to figure out. So I think I have no choice but to go Michigan State. Let me say 24-17.
Rob, how about you go next?
All right, so I brought the stats and everything for this game. Did my research.
Let's do it.
So let's talk about Aiden. So Jesse, you talk about Aiden Childs. So for the season, he has 1,468 yards, 6 touchdowns, but 9 interceptions. Very turnover prone. Again, just like Dylan Gabriel, if someone gets in his face, he has to run out of the pocket and make a quick decision. Like, he's going to turn over the ball a lot, and I think that's what Michigan can deliver on. Again, they have 3 first-round picks on the defensive line: Josiah Stewart, Mason Graham, and Kenneth Grant, all first-round picks. So they should really utilize that. But so I look back at the Iowa game. You couldn't ask for a better game from Aiden Childs. He really is progressing as a quarterback from the beginning of the season. He had over 250 yards, about 2 or 3 touchdowns, 22 for 30, and 1 interception. I mean, coming from where he was to what he is now, if he plays that type of game, and again, you have a Michigan secondary who is ranked 94th in the country, and they could really pick on that. They'll probably not trying to knock Jair Hill, but they'll more than likely pick on him a lot. He hasn't been great, but that's all up to John Smith's play calling. It's all up to the type of game that Childs plays, and their star receiver Nick Marsh as well. He's having a pretty good season for Michigan State. But I think in this, I'm gonna go with. I think Michigan's offense is gonna lose them in this game. And let's talk about the QB room. And this is not trying to diss anything. These are just the facts. Okay, so just hear me out and take it as is.
Fake news.
Davis Warren, who was benched, has the most passing yards on the team with 44 yards. Tuttle has fumbled the ball and threw an interception the last 2 games. They do have that rushing attack going for them, but since they can't really pass, they're more than likely going Michigan State's defense, who is ranked 29th in the nation, by the way. That's not bad at all. more than likely going to anticipate for the run a lot. And the thing I don't like about, Michigan's offense is if they're put in like a 3rd and 2 situation, 3rd and 3, I bet like 9 times out of 10 Mullins gets that. He's a bruising back. He used to be a linebacker, converted running back. He's good. But if you get them in a 3rd and 5, in like 3rd and 6 situation, I don't like their chances on getting that first down. They're going to be anticipating the run, and they know that that Michigan cannot throw. So it could be a snooze fest. I was looking at the Iowa game too. They got most of their points from the kicker, Jonathan Kim. He kicked 6 field goals. He got 18 of their points.
Nice.
So it could be who gets in field goal range. Who gets in field. But again, I'm going to go with Michigan State. Michigan State is going to Sparty on against Michigan. I'm going to say 14-10.
Man, that's an Iowa Minnesota score.
That's 2017 Michigan State is what it is.
Yeah.
That is a boring game.
Yep. I think I got to agree with Penn State Jim here that this is a must-win for Michigan. They lose this one, and they're just done for the season. Although I guess the same would be said for Michigan State. I don't know that Michigan State's going to do anything after that either. I want to give Anwar the last word on this one, so I'm going to go to Mac next. Mac, what do you got?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm with Justin. I feel like Michigan. I feel like Michigan can win. I feel like Michigan should win, but where are the points coming from? And then obviously there's the momentum factors that, Michigan's on the way down, whereas Michigan State's on the way up. I didn't expect Michigan State to put up 32 points against Iowa's defense. That's wild to me. And the fact that they bottled up Iowa's running back, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Caleb Johnson, thank you. The fact that they bottled him up pretty well. I mean, I don't know. That was just wild. So then you kind of got to ask yourself, was that an outlier for Michigan State? Was it an outlier for Iowa? Is this what we can expect from Michigan State moving forward? Iowa is kind of hit or miss this year. I mean, they got blown out by Ohio State. They lost to Iowa State when they really shouldn't have. I mean, I don't think they should have lost to Michigan State here. I don't think Michigan State should have won, but we also look at Michigan State. They probably, we thought that they would lose to Maryland, but they ended up beating Maryland on the road too. I'm not saying that that's a good win or anything. I'm just saying that Michigan State is kind of defying expectations. So under normal circumstances, or if Michigan didn't suck this year, I would say Michigan would win this game. Well, obviously, if Michigan didn't suck this year, I'd say that. But being the optimistic Michigan fan that I am, I want to believe that somebody is listening to Monday Morning Quarterback with Devin Gardner and Sam Webb. And Devin Gardner is talking about, you got to go back to Alex Orji. He's the only one that's taking care of the ball. Yeah, he can't throw the ball, but at least he's not throwing interceptions and he's not fumbling like Jack Tuttle is. So, I mean, I think that he's right. I think Alex Orji gives them the best chance to make a bowl game this year. And I think if they could scheme up something that fit Alex Orji's skill set, then maybe we'd be getting somewhere. But for some reason, Kirk Campbell just doesn't want to do that. I mean, why is Jack Tuttle throwing 32 times against Illinois when you've got Kalel Mullings, who should be running back one? So I don't know. I mean, conventional logic says that this coaching staff should learn. They should know, like, coming into Michigan State, this is a very winnable game. If they put Alex Orji back at quarterback and Kalel Mullings back at running back one and play to their strengths, Orji can throw it 15 times, maybe, but that's it. That's the max. Okay, he should not be throwing any more than that. And when he does throw it, needs to be dink and dunk. It needs to be checkdowns. It needs to be slants. That's it. And 10 of those 15 passes need to be to Colston Loveland. I don't care that he's going to be double teamed the entire game. Do it anyway. Run the ball. Are they going to do that? Are they going to learn? I don't know. So I'm going to continue to be optimistic because it'll be a cold day in Los Angeles before I pick Sparty over Michigan. So I'm going to take Michigan. I'm going to take them 17-10. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
Also, I think Will Johnson's going to shut it down soon. So there's that. Is he going to?
Will Johnson might not play this game.
At that point.
Yeah, he's injured.
Anwar, what do you
Yeah,
got?
I think Mac articulated it, and Rob articulated it very well.
Not Justin though, because he can't use his words good.
Okay, this is
Shut
this is an emotional game. It's a rivalry game. It's for bragging rights in the state. Michigan State got owned the last 2 seasons, and I think they'll be out to prove something. I did take a look at the statistics, just like Rob did earlier for my pregame video. And the Aiden Childs kid, he threw the ball, he ran the ball. 2 other wide receivers gained 100 yards on their receptions. And yeah, I think the question for Michigan is, where's the offense going to come from? And yeah, maybe it's back to Orji, but I think the challenge to Kurt Campbell is to do what's good for Orji. And if you're going to do what we did against Washington, where you're going to make him sit back and try to make him be a pocket passer, that's not going to work. So it's a game that could go either way. I did pick a similar score to Rob. So I'm going to pick Michigan 14-10 with the understanding that it could go in the opposite direction, because I think Michigan State's going to be amped up for this one. So there we are.
Yeah.
One thing to add too, Michigan State's tackling had been horrible, and that was the first game where it looked semi-decent. So that's another aspect of this too. Like, which Michigan State are you going to get? Because a week prior against Oregon, they couldn't tackle to save their life, and then against Iowa, they're securing tackles left and right. It's just such a hard game to gauge here.
Sam Hartman's looking downfield for Adrian.
Oh! Carter almost has a one-handed catch.
Almost. That would have